Random wrestling thoughts. Random wrestling thoughts. Random wrestling thoughts. First and foremost, Shandell Gregory. Thank you for recently subscribing to the channel. Brian Talks Wrestling. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Now let's get into it, folks. I was thinking the other day whether or not if WWE is putting out too much content that it is not being responsible for. And what do I mean by that? Okay, so for those that have been subscribed and that listen to my episodes, you know that I've been commenting on the Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville storyline since it began. And it dawned on me, I started seeing a lot of different interviews with Mandy Rose. She had done an interview with Maria Menounos on her show where Sonya Deville called in, and basically it started as a prank, and then Sonya just wanted to speak with Mandy. Mandy shut it down. Then I had mentioned on the WrestleMania podcast about the IG Live that Mandy did with Otis and how funny he was. Recently, Chris Van Vliet has his interview with Mandy Rose and her speaking. Basically, she's out of character this time, where the other two, they were more so in character, and she's just, telling her story, basically her bio. And also I want to also add in the IG images that she had done with Dolph many weeks ago. This is all going to play into this. The reason why I'm bringing this up, it seems as if I wasn't on YouTube or any of these social media platforms, I'm missing storyline pieces that are not being brought up on SmackDown outside of the IG photos. He brought that up to show to Otis, right? But prior to that, there had been tweets and things of that nature that if you're not on these platforms, you kind of don't know what's going on, or you're missing certain aspects of character and storyline if they develop into something that's going to go on SmackDown, I guess. But just the fact that the Maria Menounos interview, I felt that would have been a very crucial piece to have on SmackDown. Even if it was Sonya mentioning, hey, I'd been trying to talk to you. I even, wanted to speak with you when you were being interviewed with Maria. She didn't even have to say Maria's full name, because that more than likely would have made people say, who the hell is Maria? What is she talking about? And then it would have evolved into, oh, she did this interview with Maria Menounos. And then people would have seen it. And it probably would have trended. But imagine if she does the interview with Maria and then Michael Cole brings that up, because WWE, they're in alignment with whatever interviews are being done. Before Sonya even comes out to do her segment to bring Mandy out, he does the build up, tonight we're going to see this, that. When he had said Sonya Deville wants to talk with Mandy, he could have put that in. Recently she had been, trying to reach out to her on the Maria Menounos show, conversations with Maria, and Mandy and Otis seemed like they were having a good time on IG. So it kind of brings you in, it kind of siphons you into that funnel of still being in that world. Not 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, where you're hearing this And I mean, nothing at this point is ever really old, but it would just be more in sync with everything. And Maria is part of the WWE family. You know, she had her run there, for those that may not know, for a while. And she even admitted that they wanted her for Tough Enough. You know, and she felt that she wasn't built for that. So she referred Daria, aka Sonya Deville. So it's not like WWE is unfamiliar with Maria Menounos. It just seems as if they're kind of not paying attention to all of the social media stuff, unless it's something bad, like the homie Velveteen Dream. That pops up, WWE's involved, whatever, because now it's under investigation. But let's just say, you know, he was running around giving elderly people flowers. And he was just doing that on IG Live. Hi, I'm the Velveteen Dream. Here's your flowers because we respect our seniors and ... Is that going to get mentioned on NXT? I think it should. Why not? Hey, it's a new side of Velveteen that we haven't seen. And then you cut to him, you know, him hanging out with, let's say, Xia Li, and they're just running around handing out flowers to senior citizens or helping them shop. Is that going to make the cut on television? I don't know. I mean, look, here's the one thing I can tell you from making films and doing this right here for you. 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 10 seconds, 5, 7 seconds is a lot of time. You may not think so, but it is. And to have a 7-second or 20-second clip of showing Mandy with Maria or Velveteen doing whatever, trust me, it means a lot, and it does add to the character. So it just makes me wonder. Guess I don't even really have to wonder, because I'm seeing it not being done. It's as if they're, you know, so much content that they're not getting. Like, all right, case in point, am I, and I'm doing this the day of SmackDown. SmackDown comes on tonight. Am I going to see what Tamina did on Twitter? And the only way I know about that, was it from being on YouTube and seeing something? And then that made me, I think so. I think someone mentioned it and it made me go to Twitter. Or, wait a minute. Was it that she was trending? Yeah, that's what it was. She was trending on Twitter. I happened to go up there to go do a post. Now, what happens for those that aren't on Twitter, or for those that have Twitter accounts and they happen to miss it because they were taking care of other things? Is this going to get mentioned on tonight's SmackDown, if she's included in it? But even still, when you're talking about the matches, because the Money in the Bank is next week, which is one more day of SmackDown, which is the following Friday, why not mention, hey, Tamina did something on Twitter and we saw, rather put like this, rather than utilizing the time to insert clips of Matt Hardy, when you know that you could have done a whole separate documentary on Jeff Hardy, just like you did with Edge. Even if it wasn't 30 minutes, even if it was just 15 minutes, you could have still put it on the network. You could have utilized that time on SmackDown for all of these social media things that are around these characters. You know, Carmella could be doing something right now because she has a match with Mandy Rose to qualify for Money in the Bank. And I haven't even looked on her IG. Actually, no, I did, because a few days ago, she was doing impersonations of the talent. So, but then again, that was like 2 or 3 days ago. Maybe she just put up an interview or something that she might have said with, you know, about Mandy that's going to happen tonight. I'm going to win and whatever. Is that going to be utilized? Like, don't assume. I think it's silly to assume, or lazy. Well, you know, it's on IG and those on IG are going to see it and we don't have to pay any attention to it. No, it marries all that stuff together. And I'm sure that WWE isn't the only one that's doing it. I just happen to notice it much more because their storyline is catching steam. So it just makes me wonder. There was something else that I think might have been something with Bray late last year when, you know, The Fiend was bubbling up with The Miz and stuff. I think there might have been things that he was doing on social media that wasn't even picked up as well. And it just seems like they're dropping that ball. And they're even dropping the ball. It's not even on their YouTube channel. You know, you may not want to put on your network because they might be just two small chunks. All right, when Sonya called up on Maria's show, that was, you know, a few minutes here. You may not be able to do anything with it, but for your network, put it up on YouTube. Take a montage of all this stuff, and you could have put that up on YouTube. And then, actually, as a lead up, let's say they did it today, early today, a roundup, because that stuff, I don't see it mentioned in The Bump for the times that I've watched The Bump. The other show that they have with Renee, Booker T, CM, and Paige, haven't seen that there, and I don't watch that show religiously. So it's just something that's just coming to mind, is that they need to siphon in and reel in the content. Know what, Sonya Deville is going to do. She's going to cut it. She's going to be interviewed by, Wrestle Talk or whatever. And she's going to be in character. So she's going to do, a crazy ass promo that, hey, we could use that next week. And next week, if she thinks that she's going to Money in the Bank, as qualifier, she has another thing coming. Segued into Friday Night SmackDown. Why not? Or how about this? Light bulb. Segue into the end of Raw to lead you into Come to SmackDown, or the end of NXT to lead you into going to watch SmackDown. When NXT goes off, hey, don't forget Friday night we'll be on SmackDown, and where Sonya Deville will XYXY. She left this message on IG. When I see your face, da 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 da. Bam! Oh wow. Random wrestling thoughts. Random wrestling thoughts. Random wrestling thoughts. Another random thought. Apparently MJF has an injury, and is going to be out for a while. How long, we don't know. It's undisclosed, although he's very mildly discussed it. But he's been cutting promos on AEW as to why basically he hasn't been on. And the one that I saw, his arm was in a sling. He was stating that he had a hangnail. Then he did another one this past week and was discussing about how the doctor said that, I think it was his neck, but basically he is recovering. And it reminds me of the Randy Orton promos that I just saw when they were doing the Evolution breakdown on the Ruthless Aggression doc. So I'm wondering if they grifted that concept and ran with it with MJF. I don't know. We know that, Vince never watches anything, hence the role model thing. But we know that's all BS, which leads me into segue into, before I want to say, I'll close that out with, I'm sure that they all grift things from one another. And we'll leave it at that. As I segue into Britt Baker, whom I was hard on. Oh! And she has thus stepped it up. Very much so. When I did my first AEW review, I was critiquing how she was just very droll and lackluster doing her promos. And this past week, the short that she did with Rebel was excellent. Excellent. I believe that she heavily got herself over even more 2 weeks ago when she accidentally got busted open doing a match with Sheeta, because I don't want to jack up her first name because it's escaping me right now, which was a really good match. Jericho was commentating in it, and that was very funny. So if you can catch that on the AEW YouTube channel, if they have it up there, he says some funny comments. The promo that she did with Rebel was hilarious. The rapport that she's building with Tony Schiavone is hilarious. She's really, really building into something. I'm glad that she addressed the whole role model issue on Talk is Jericho. And I'll leave it at that. You all can go listen to that podcast so you can get a perspective on who she is for those that may not be very aware, for you diehard WWE fans that are slowly taking a peek at AEW and saying, who's that? Who's this? Who's that? Who's this? Go listen to Jericho and his interview with her and go get a feel for who this young lady is. So 4 stars from me. I hope that she keeps it up. I'm still hard on AEW's ladies talent. They need more women. I was hoping that maybe they could get Sarah Logan, but I have this feeling that she's going to end up staying, riding the 90 days out, and somehow WWE they're going to end up utilizing her somewhere. So either way, I just hope if they're going to keep her, just use her, because I mean it's just so untapped talent that I don't want my blood pressure to start bubbling up over what they're doing over there. Anyhow, great job, Britt Baker. Hope she keeps it up. And for those that are not watching AEW, you need to be watching AEW. If you keep complaining about WWE doesn't do this and that and this and that, there are various alternatives for you to watch. And I've been really getting in, if you've listened to any of the stuff that I've been saying, and since the pandemic, I had a whole playlist of damn near 20 different matches and events from various other companies, and I've pretty much ran through all of them. I have to throw a special shout out to watch the G1 Supercard, which is a combination of New Japan and Ring of Honor. They had a Supercard that took place last year. They were supposed to have another one this year, I believe also at the Garden. I don't know what's going to happen now. This was, as I said, 2019, last year at the Garden. It is a goddamn really, 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 really good show that kind of harkens back to me of the early days of WWE. When you take a look at it, you'll kind of understand. I'm talking about the feel of it. So if you get a chance and you're willing to extend the imagination a little bit, I believe, it is on the Ring of Honor channel, and it's only up there for the next few weeks. I know they're going to take it down in May. I want to say the end of May, but don't hold me to it. I would suggest jump on it now while you're in the house if you're looking for something to watch before Smack. It's 5 hours too, so you get your money's worth.
Money's worth, but it's free.
You get to see different talent. Some of the people that I've had my eye on, like Jay Lethal, the Briscoes, you've already heard me talk about them. There's a guy named Matt Taven who's pretty good. There's a guy from Japan, I forgot it. He was Kenny Omega's tag team partner. Excellent performer, man. Excellent performer. Flip Gordon, man. Ooh, this kid is bad. This is my 3rd or 4th time seeing this cat. He wrestled in a match with SCU. I think, he was teamed up with SCU. They went against I call the mild version of the Bullet Club, which is Cody, Stephen Amell, a.k.a. the Green Arrow. Yes, the Green Arrow. Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks. And that was my first time I actually just really paid attention to Flip. He's nasty. That's a bad boy, man. That's a bad boy. And he also has a documentary that's up on Ring of Honor about his comeback and the injuries that he sustained. Kind of reminded me of the injuries that Tegan Knox sustained when they did the documentary on NXT. It has that feel to it, and he discusses how he, decided to change up his style a little bit more. But his background is crazy, military, whole 9 yards. Go check that out. But Flip Gordon, y'all should really just be messing with Ring of Honor, period. Straight up. Like, that's a really... Samoa Joe came from Ring of Honor. Daniel Bryan came from Ring of Honor. Adam Cole came from Ring of Honor. CM Punk came from Ring of Honor. Who else? Just watch Ring of Honor. Bottom line, just watch Ring of Honor. And I'm watching their current stuff, and what they're doing is they're doing breakdowns of different talent, so that you can get more familiar with their talent, so they can get more viewers. So yeah, big hats off to Ring of Honor. I really enjoy what they're doing. G1 Supercard, get it while it's up there, watch it while it's up there, and watch it in pieces if you go 5 hours. But I believe that you're going to be thoroughly entertained. Velvet Sky and what's this woman's name? Damn. She's a really good wrestler. She's a really good teacher too. She was in Impact. They were part of the Beautiful People, and now they have a new name. Just watch this G1 Supercard, and I can't really say enough about it. It's really high energy. It's just really, 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 really good. I can't say enough about it. So hats off to Ring of Honor with that. This week's AEW contained the last 2 matches for this new title that they rolled out, which is going to be, I guess, their television title. I'm going to be straight up and down with you. You've heard me discuss Cody Rhodes in the previous Random Thoughts. If he wins this tournament, I'm done. I will not watch AEW. Keep in mind, I'm also the person that stopped watching Raw, so I'm capable of dumping it. My big complaint is you're the face of that company, and I'm not talking about the wrestling face. I'm talking about the person that's behind. But outside of Tony Khan, it's Cody. And to me, it's a bad look to have a company, you're the face of the company, and then you're going to hold all the titles. Your job, as far as I'm concerned, should be putting people over. I felt that he should have dropped to Shawn Spears, who needs a big push. Shawn Spears should be in this tournament, or should have gotten bumped 2 weeks ago or something. Cody should not have beaten Shawn Spears. Cody should not have beaten Darby Allin, especially the way that it played out. It was shitty. Excuse my language, it is what it is. They're rushing, and I've said this before, because of the signings. But guess what, guys? There are a whole lot of people that just got released. And I don't believe Cody for a second when he said, we're not rushing any new guys to sign anyone that got fired. Because, is it All In that's coming? Or Double or Nothing? Or whatever the next pay-per-view is coming up in a few weeks? Let's see who shows up there. But I still don't believe him. We're going to see who's going to pop up. They need people. So the fact of the matter is, I've stated this before and I'll state it again, they're rushing. There's a ongoing story with Lance Archer, who basically just arrived, with Jake the Snake as his mentor, and they have a beef with Cody Rhodes. This just started like maybe a month ago. And because of the pandemic, it's like these 2 guys are going to be fighting next week. They haven't had any run-ins. Cody hasn't cut any promos regarding him. Lance Archer hasn't cut any promos himself, and he's another good one. I saw him wrestle last week against who's the dude that was supposed to sign, but we don't know. The one I was talking about that lost to Moxley. I thought that was a dumb move.
It's Jeff Cobb, you idiot.
they wrestled together against one another. Really good match. And one thing that stood out about Lance Archer is that there was this little kid. Couldn't have been any more than, I'll say, 5, maybe giving him 7 years old. And he was, he got out the ring and started teasing the kid. He told the kid to come over and he started mouthing off to and the kid stood strong, didn't back down, wasn't scared. It was so cute. Just the fact that the kid didn't back down, and it's also cute the fact that Lance, being the heel, was antagonizing this kid, and it's very, it's just, the way that I saw it was very cute. He's got some mic skills. He's got good energy. It just felt like they utilized this tournament to have that match. And look, I'm not one for long. Like, I just beefed about the Sonya Mandy 4-month storyline that was playing out every other week, which I still don't understand how 2 weeks ago you got heat. The Sonya Mandy storyline was trending, and then the following week you don't do the follow-up. You kind of kill that. Anyway, I'll save that for my Sonya Mandy rant after what happens tonight happens. Anyhow, it almost feels like there wasn't enough time based on us dealing with the lockdown for these two, and thus they utilized this tournament for Cody to meet up with Lance Archer when it could have played out a whole other way. And still in all, at the end of the day, if Cody ends up winning this, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not going to invest my time in that because I don't give a if it's for 2 weeks and he has a title. No, your job right now should be helping to run that company, putting some people over. Does that mean losing all the time? No. But that Darby Allin match, you should have took the L, dude. You should have took the L. I'll leave that at that. The reason why I also wanted to discuss AEW is because this is going to be visual, so pay attention to the screen for those that are just listening. It's a flaw that I found, and I wanted to see if anyone else found it. I'm not searching heavy, but a couple of the other podcasts that I listen to, I haven't seen anyone mention this. So apparently there's a flub in AEW, and they're taping their schedules, and they're not really paying attention to this week's taping. If you watch Wednesday, you saw Dasha Gonzalez go from a blue dress actually to a black dress back to a blue dress because they were intercutting the different matches. Then the Darby Allin versus Cody Rhodes match, Tony Schiavone and Chris Jericho are calling the match. And Chris Jericho says, last week when me and Sammy tag teamed to fight Cody, and I forgot who else it was. Not Cody, Darby Allin and someone else, I forgot who it was. We found out that, how tough Darby was. And I'm like, wait a minute, that match was like 2 weeks ago. Bum, 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 bum. They need to slow down, pay attention to their content. Now, this is a company not paying attention as opposed to WWE not giving too much attention to their content. But this is like more live show related, like this is your actual show. It's like you showing me Sammy Guevara comes out in purple wrestling trunks, and then you go to the break and you come back and he has on white wrestling trunks. And no one ever mentions the trunks. You never go, well, during the break, Sammy's trunks ripped. And hence, the new white trunks. You just keep on with the match. So yeah, they botched that up, and I'm surprised that no one else ever caught up on it. So these are some of my random wrestling thoughts for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will be back up, if not this evening, which I doubt, more than likely this weekend, with this Mandy and Sonya escapade and how this is going to flip out. Also, what I want to say, actually, before I let you all go, is I'm so glad that Matt Morgan, who you've heard me mention before, stated the same thing that I stated last week in my Mandy and Sonya piece. How he likes his heels to be heels. He felt that the Sonya promo wasn't as effective in terms of her being a heel. And he was explaining basically what I felt about the whole Dolph Ziggler thing. And this is something else that goes into what I stated earlier. I forgot about this, which is with the content. So during the Chris Van Vliet interview, he's reading something, and it's obvious that it's Nick M. Dolph's name is Nick Nemeth. He's basically trying to apologize in a humorous way to Mandy. And then prior to that, he had all these wrestlers cut all these videos begging for Mandy to get back with him. And this is the ish that I'm talking about. Like, dude, is this a romantic comedy and you're the lead? Or are you the heel? Because I'm not getting the funny heel guy. I'm not, like, that was the thing that I stated before that was throwing me off. Like, if you're the heel, stay the heel. Don't try to be funny guy with this. Like, unless they're going in some other direction that we don't see coming, which I wouldn't do. I wouldn't mess with Otis right now because he's so goddamn hot. It would be silly unless she's going to screw him and go heel and then go with Ziggler. But still in all, he's still supposed to be a heel. If they're going to do this tag team match, this is what also doesn't make sense. Actually, you know what? I'll save it. I'm going to save that. I'll save that for my other breakdown that's going to happen tonight, this weekend, for the Man and Sony thing. I'll save that for you. So you got food for thought. But yeah, shout out to Matt Morgan. I'm glad that he agreed with that. I'm probably going to bring this up again on that segment, but I'm glad that he agreed with what I'm thinking, you know, despite the fact that he didn't talk about the whole pretty aspect, but I got what he was saying, because it just seemed to me that a lot of stuff that Sony was saying wasn't really no, I'll take that back. No, it was because her the being angered about them coming out together, but just about the pretty, I wouldn't have used that. I would have taken that out personally, as I've already stated. That's neither here nor there. All right. Anyway, I'm glad that Matt Morgan, a former WWE talent, agreed with what I was thinking when I was stating what I was stating about that whole narrative in that storyline. So I'm going to leave with that. Go check out Ring of Honor. Go mess with Impact. Go look at MLW, Major League Wrestling. Go look at New Japan. Go venture out. This is for my hardcore WWE fans that love everything that they do but complain about it. There are other alternatives. Go out. Go see the world. This is the perfect time. While things are slow and you're looking for content to watch, go check out other talent. Look at Jay Lethal. Look at the Briscoes. Look at Flip Gordon. Look at Mac Taven. Another name that I forgot to mention is Will Ospreay. He's also in the G1 Supercard. At the time, because he might have changed his look, he reminded me of Christian, but he is a really, really good talent, man. Look at Taya Valkyrie on Impact. Look at Thick Mama Pump on Impact. There are other people out here for you to go and go see the world, so you can really get a taste of kind of what you want from your WWE platform. Go watch NWA as well. Go look at their catalog as well. NWA, they're there as well. James Storm, Nick Aldis, Eli Drake, Thunder Rosa, Marty Bell, Allison Kay, Melina, May Valentine. Give NWA a shot as well. Their catalog is up on YouTube as well. Check those matches out. There's more than just WWE. Because the ratings are tanking. Every week I keep hearing about a new low. But, your boy's still getting that check cut. How mad would they get if you went on their platform and kept commenting on other shows? I think they would get pretty pissy and make a change because the ratings are already falling. But I'll leave it on that note. I'm not going to, go too crazy. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Wasn't expecting to go this long, but I did. Random wrestling thoughts.